A drum beats in the dark. Slow, steady, a heartbeat made of thunder. The sound rolls through a circle of firelight where smoke curls toward the stars and shadows begin to move. Figures sway with the rhythm, painted in ash and ochre, their breath quick and shallow, their eyes half closed. The air hums with anticipation. Smoke thick as breath, sparks rising like fireflies. Each heartbeat folds into the next, until sound and silence become one. Around the fire, faces gleam, fear and faith reflected in equal measure. At the center stands one figure apart. Their body trembles, their hands rise and fall with the beat, the voice breaking into strange syllables, half song, half wind. Before them lies a patient, motionless, pale, wrapped in furs. Firelight flickers across their skin. Then, for a heartbeat, the rhythm falters. The dancer's still. The shaman opens their eyes that seem to see through time itself. In this moment, we stand at the threshold of a new world. The age of instinct is ending. The age of ritual has begun. For the first time, the human mind turned inward, not just to survive, but to understand. The spark of self-awareness flickered beside the fire, and with it came awe, curiosity, and doubt, the roots of all medicine. When our ancestors first healed, it was through touch, warmth, and care, the tenderness of survival. But as their understanding deepened, a new question stirred within them. Why? Why does one recover and another fade away? Why do dreams bring warning or storms follow the sick? They began to sense that behind every illness lay something unseen, a disturbance not only in flesh, but in the harmony of life itself. And so, across continents and centuries, humanity gave rise to a new figure, the shaman, the first to walk between the worlds of matter and spirit. We can still trace their presence in the echoes of the earth, painted on the walls of caves, carved into bone and stone. In the caverns of Tassili Niger, in the Sahara, ancient rock paintings show figures draped in animal skins, surrounded by spirals of energy radiating from their bodies. Some float above the ground, arms outstretched, as if crossing into another realm. Archaeologists call them the dancers, but their movements were more than dance. They were acts of transformation, the shaman's journey through the invisible. To the people of that age, the world was alive with spirit. The wind spoke. The river remembered. The beasts carried the breath of ancestors. Health and sickness, fortune and disaster, all were threads in a vast, living web. To heal was to restore balance between those threads, to set right what had been disturbed. But balance came at cost. To become a shaman was to be broken open. Illness, visions, loss, the spirits chose through suffering. Only those who had walked through pain could lead others out of it. The shaman was the one who dared to touch the web. Their tools were not knives or herbs alone, but rhythm, smoke, and belief. The drum, circular like the sun, was their compass. Each beat, a step deeper into trance. The fire, their portal. Its smoke, a bridge between worlds. The voice, chanting, whispering, howling, called the spirits by name, invited them to enter, or commanded them to leave. And through these rituals, healing became both performance and prayer. In the tundras of Siberia, long after the Ice Age faded, the shaman's drum, stretched from reindeer hide, was said to contain a living spirit, the sound of the animal soul. Before each ceremony, they purified the drum with smoke and breath, feeding it songs to wake its sleeping heart. They said its rim marked the edge of the world. It skinned the sky. When struck, the stars trembled in reply, summoning the invisible. Their costumes bristled with feathers, antlers, and iron charms, symbols of passage between worlds. In trance, they claimed to ride upon spirit animals, eagles, bears, serpents, to seek out the soul of the sick. Illness, they believed, was not merely disease but a loss, a theft of spirit. The shaman's task was to find it and bring it home. Such journeys were dangerous. The shaman risked madness, exhaustion, even death. But through them, the tribe found meaning. Each ritual reaffirmed a truth, that they were not powerless before fate. That belief itself could shape the unseen. Across the plains of Africa, among the sand people of the Kalahari, this vision still burns. In the trance dance, men and women gather beneath the stars, circling the fire. Their feet strike the earth in time with a chant. Their breath quickens until the world begins to blur. They enter a boiling energy that rises from the stomach to the heart, from the heart to the head. It burns, it sears, it transforms. In that state, they say they can see sickness as darkness clinging to the body. They draw it out with their hands, fling it into the fire, and collapse, trembling, reborn. Though oceans apart, the same rhythm echoed through jungles, deserts, and ice, proof that the language of the drum was already older than words. To an outside eye, it is theater. To them, it is medicine. The drumbeat is not just sound, it is order imposed on chaos. The smoke is not illusion, it is cleansing made visible. The chant is not noise, it is the mind finding rhythm with the universe. This is the great secret of shamanic healing. It worked not because it changed the world outside, but because it changed the world within. Healing, they knew, begins where explanation ends. It was not an act performed on the body, but with it, a dialogue between belief and biology. Today, we know that rhythm, repetition, and suggestion can alter consciousness, release endorphins, even ease pain. The shaman discovered this millennia before science gave it names. Their ceremonies were laboratories of the spirit, experiments in emotion, faith, and the deep power of mind over body. Perhaps healing was never only about the body, but about restoring harmony between the seen and unseen. In many cultures, that harmony took form in objects, amulets and charms shaped by hand and faith. A carved tooth, a feather, a stone etched with lines. In prehistoric burials, we find these beside the dead, beads of bone, ochre-stained stones, fragments of metal. At Dolny Vestinus, in the Czech lands, archaeologists uncovered small clay figurines, women, animals, hybrid forms that defy explanation. Offerings, perhaps, talismans, each carried meaning, fertility, endurance, life. Through them, fear was given form, and what is given form can be held, blessed, or overcome. Across continents, the shaman's tools echoed the same vision, that symbols themselves held power. The spiral, the circle, the handprint, recurring motifs from Europe to Indonesia, were not decoration, but maps of consciousness. In the flickering light of the cave, these symbols came alive. The painted beasts ran once more across the stone. The shaman, entering trance, became the bridge between art and life, between the eternal and the immediate. Deep within Lascaux and Chauvet, paintings were created in chambers far from daylight. To reach them required crawling through narrow tunnels, carrying lamps of animal fat, the air thick with smoke. The flicker of flame turning stone to spirit. Imagine the effect: fear, awe, and wonder merging into revelation. These caves were not galleries. They were sanctuaries, places of initiation and healing. Here, the shaman's trance met the tribe's collective dream. By painting the beasts, they renewed their bond with the world, and perhaps with their own resilience. Sacred plants deepened this journey. The taste was bitter, the visions blinding. Serpents of color coiled behind the eyes. The air shimmered with breath that wasn't theirs. From this strangeness emerged pattern, insight dressed as dream. Across the Americas, mushrooms and cacti became gateways to revelation. In the highlands of Peru, traces of San Pedro cactus mark ancient ceremonial sites, its alkaloids opening visions, dissolving boundaries. To the modern mind, these were hallucinations. To them, they were messages, glimpses of truth too vast for waking sight. The shaman's role, then, was not only healer, but interpreter. They returned from trance with stories of spirits met, lessons learned. Around the fire, the tribe waited for the shaman's return, not only for the cure, but for the tale. Every healing was also a myth retold, a promise that chaos could be named and therefore survived. And these stories are medicine too. Through them, suffering found meaning, and recovery became destiny. The shaman's greatest gift was not only to cure, but to explain. In a world without microscopes, illness was terrifying in its mystery. The shaman gave it language, gave a tribe a map through the unknown. In every culture, they lived on the edge, feared and revered, chosen by suffering itself. Among the Evenki, spirits tore the chosen apart in dreams and rebuilt them with iron bones. Among the Inuit, the initiate wandered alone into the ice and returned with new sight. Among the Dagara of West Africa, the healer was one who had survived madness, proof that they had walked the border between life and death and come back whole. In every land, initiation was a death rehearsed, a surrender of certainty. Only by letting go of the self could they carry another's pain. In every telling, the message endures. Healing demands transformation. And when we listen to these stories now, beneath their symbols, we still recognize the same truth, that illness changes us, and in surviving, we are reborn. Through the shaman's journey, the tribe witnessed that rebirth, descent, struggle, return. Healing and storytelling were one and the same. The shaman was doctor and poet, scientist and philosopher before those words existed. They taught that the visible world is only half of reality, and that to mend the body, one must also tend the spirit. Even now, echoes remain. Perhaps that is why hospitals fall silent before surgery, why we whisper in chapels and therapy rooms alike. We still sense that to heal, one must cross a threshold. We still gather in circles, in temples, in hospitals, in therapy rooms. We still listen to rhythmic pulses, the steady beep of a monitor, the breath of a ventilator, echoes of the drum that once guided the trance. We still hold our amulets close, a cross, a ring, a photograph. When we speak of energy, of balance, of mind and body, we are whispering the same words once spoken by firelight. Perhaps the shaman's true legacy is not their rituals, but their reminder that the boundaries between science and spirit, body and mind, are far more porous than we imagine. For the ancient healer, curing was inseparable from meaning. The patient was not merely repaired, but rejoined to the cosmos. As we continue our story of medicine, this thread endures, the search for wholeness, for harmony between life and death. The shaman's chant still lingers, carried through time in prayer, poetry, and song. Is the sound of humanity striving to be whole. Stay with us as we follow that sound forward, to temples and tombs, to priests and physicians, where healing begins to take shape in stone and scripture. But tonight, Within the circle of fire and smoke, the drum still beats. The healer trembles. The patient stirs. The night holds its breath. The stars lean closer. For a moment, it feels as though the entire world listens, waiting for the heartbeat to begin again. And somewhere deep within the human spirit, the ancient rhythm continues. The rhythm of faith, of breath, of healing. Thank you for watching our media. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing. It helps us keep exploring the hidden history of healing and the human spirit. Stay curious, stay kind, and we'll see you in the next chapter.